Right, well, back again then for another Coach's Corner, this time with Mark Saunders from the Raiders too. It's been a while again since we last called up, Mark, but it's been a quiet patch for the Raiders itself. Just well, there's only a couple of games in the month of December, only one more coming up. So let's talk about things so far. Again, just, well, go back to the end of November first of all. Just the issues of not being able to find the net, costing some very tight games.
Yeah, November was not a good month for us. Yeah, it kind of goes in swings and roundabouts, isn't it? You can find a game like on the weekend here, you can score 5 goals and lose a game, conceding 7, and we can lose games 2-1 here, 3-2 at Oxford. Those kind of games that we feel should be, if we work to our potential, should be ours. But as I've said this many times, it feels like a recurring kind of theme that if we're not going to acquit ourselves well on a night, then we're going to get beat. And I felt the Bristol game here, we should have been 5 or 6 up at the end of the first. Can't find the net, we're shooting high and wide, we're getting into bad habits that we've tried to move away from. And then 60 seconds, 70 seconds from the end, we concede that dagger there that you can't get back from. Oxford was a bit of a strange one. Again, I thought that should have been dead or buried, but if we don't put it back in the net, it's possession doesn't count, passes don't count, none of that stuff. It's the goals you put in at the end of the night. So to lose that 1-3-2, the night before there was the Invicta game here, I think it was, in the Cup, another 8-3, 8-4, something like that. Again, score 4 goals on a night, you expect to get something out of a game. Defend as badly as we have done at times. But I think, obviously the group is learning every week. We're trying to acquit ourselves well in training. We're trying to pick up on the themes that are coming through in the games, and we're just not defending well enough, which is something we need to be better at. So I'm just trying to make sure that, it might be the same dull message of defend and defend well and apply yourselves in your zone and things like that, and all over the ice. It's my job to deliver those dull messages, unfortunately, and until we can get out of that patch, it's where I'm at. So I get sick of hearing myself say the same things, but we'll get there, I'm sure. Quiet December, and then January gets going pretty heavy again. So we'll see where we are first week of January.
I think you covered all of this December of November there, and I think some of the results maybe not reflecting the the performance from the guys. And I suppose that's the positive there, is that they're not being deserving to lose all those necessarily, maybe deserve some points out of it. But I suppose that's what the team is a development team, and that's learning from those experiences and just saying, right, you've been in that game situation now, learn how to get through that next time.
Yeah, unfortunately, the hard learning in that is if you don't put the puck in the net, it doesn't matter how well you perform. You have to look at it as a whole, and you can play with speed, you can press, you can defend well, you can whatever else that the game might look like, but a part of the game is putting the puck in the net, and we weren't very good at that in November, and we also let ourselves down all over the ice defensively. But that is the nature of the game, and for a lot of the guys, I'm trying to teach them here that the game is a harsh teacher, right? You can train at 11 o'clock at night or whatever time we're here, but if you get the chance to perform on the weekend, you have to equip yourself well, you have to put yourself to task. As a group, we'll do the same thing. I'll do the same thing, and hopefully a whole performance is what we'll get. November was a bit of a slip-up month. We'll see where we are on Sunday after Slough.
We had Invicta sort of a week and a half ago, I think, wasn't it? Now, in the context of it was a London Cup fixture, where you are now, that's probably, you're out of contention for that. So for you, it didn't mean much. For Invicta, I suppose they're fighting for position, it did mean something. You went there, Tyler got his first full game. I know you weren't there yourself, but I'm sure you've got some feedback from that one. Some different guys getting on the score sheet, and it was a close game that went up to just a single goal. So I suppose that's a slight improvement coming into the month, wasn't it?
Well, that's what all these, all the games are about, really. The London Cup was to kind of put together to replace a couple of teams that dropped out of the division and didn't end up coming into the division. My job here is to develop players, and Tyler had his 16th birthday in the middle of November. he backed up his first game. He's had a game with the Raiders. He's had minutes with the Raiders, and he's played his first start for us. And I watched the game. Obviously, not being very well, being at home. He played very well. There's some of the younger boys are really starting to get the hang of what senior hockey is. There are no nights off. There are no times off. The boys have felt that this weekend. They've had their first loss of the season at under 18s level this weekend just gone. So it's kind of rounding that circle that if you don't come to perform every night, no matter whoever you're against, whoever you're lining up with or against, or whatever rink you're in with whoever's on the roster at that night, if you don't acquit yourself, then the game's gonna cause you more trouble than it needs to. And that's where I know getting up to the level with Sean and guys at the elite league, you have to find those good habits. You have to get to that kind of elite performance level, and you have to hold yourself there. And that's hard to do. But at 16, 17, 18, they're not there yet. But that's what the pathway is here to do. So, nice quiet December. Let the bodies recuperate a little bit. I know that I've needed it over the last couple of weeks. I know a few of the boys are still carrying niggles and injuries and stuff. Hopefully, one game on the weekend we'll get through. And then, January has some treats in there, some games that we're looking forward to. And then 10 weeks or so left of the schedule. So, enjoy Christmas, and then the season will be over in a heartbeat.
So just very quickly, and just touch on this last game, Slough, away to Slough. Fairly good game here, tight game, low scoring. But that's what Slough tends to be in, fairly low scoring games. So do you think that might suit you, the low scoring aspect? And there's going to be sort of young legs on both sides, and could be an interesting game that there. I suppose the key is try to finish on a high, reset, come out in the new year.
Yeah, definitely so. I mean, they've put some impressive results together, and they're well coached over there. Smiths does a great job year in, year out of bringing through the young players there. You've got guys that are hitting regular ice time with the Bees. That's a well respected program over there. But that's the kind of program that we tee ourselves up against. We're developing to put players into the national, and so are they. So they've had a good run of form. We've not had such a great run of form. It'll be an interesting kind of approach from both sides of that to see who comes out the better on Sunday. Lucky it's every game starts at 0-0, and we get a fresh start to take a run at the team. I expect us to do well. Again, I thought that game here we should have been kind of 5-6 up by the end of the first. We need to learn from these things, and we need to start putting the puck in the net. We've had a good couple of weeks of training, relaxed down a couple of last week a little bit. Tonight ramped it up for Sunday. Finish on a higher 2 points and get to Christmas. 2 points would make me a happy coach for Christmas, that's for sure.
So just there's one final thing then, maybe just a quick short answer on this. It's sort of coming into the end of the year then, where the Raiders are now and your expectations maybe coming into the season, where do they sort of line up?
God, it's difficult. I'd like more wins. I'd like to have, there's a few games there that we finished the odd side of the wrong overtimes, the kind of 2-1s, 3-2s, they could have swung either way. I think the best thing is that there's lots of learning to be had from this first half of the season. If you go through and if you're winning just because you're winning, I feel that it can paper over potential lacks in our gameplay. We've unfortunately been on the backside of a few of those, which has sold us short, and when the boys have started to feel that a little bit, you get into a run of kind of 4 or 5 games, and you take 1 win in 4 or 1 win in 5, and you feel it. You're sitting in the dressing room at the end of 60 minutes, and you're kind of thinking, why has that happened? That's where the boys are starting to take that on by themselves. So that was one of the aims, is that the dressing room would start keeping itself in check, start holding themselves to account. There's been some leaders in there that I knew were in the room. Some leaders have come to the fore here. Got a great bunch of players, some great talent that's moved up to the Raiders already. Some guys that are impressing, some guys that have taken their time to get used to this level, and are now coming, to the fore. Guys like Adam Erskine, Sam Robinson had a great start. Guys like Popov, Mega, some of the younger guys, and you've got the Pascali boys, Casey Wilson, those boys. You think that they're still under 20s. That are really, putting a stamp on the way they're playing every game, which is a good thing. And that's exactly what we're here to do, right? We're here to develop players. We're here to put them in those high-pressure situations to make sure that they're learning. And that it doesn't give them the opportunity to kind of get sideways on their own performance. They've got to keep themselves straight and narrow and learn and push and play with the speed that we have. And we'll see what happens in January. You know, we've got, like I said, probably 10 weeks of playing games. All of a sudden, there's another season gone. So, yeah, Blinken will miss it, I think, after Christmas. I think those games are going to kind of run us over. Well, we need to be ready. So Christmas will be what Christmas will be, with COVID and everything else, and eating too much and drinking too much and whatever that might be to everybody out there. You know, I hope everybody has a good Christmas. And then 8th and 9th, Streatham home and Bristol away. What a weekend to come back to. So, yeah, we won't go too heavy, let's say, on the turkey. We won't want turkey legs too hard that weekend, but we'll see where we are.
Maybe send a couple of turkeys Streatham's way. That might help. Thank you very much, Mark.